Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Dale's Rails. Tonight, I wanted to do a quick video on my grade crossing here that I got wired in finally. Like I said, I went to Plan B on this. That far right sensor over there by the tunnel portal, it's controlling the right crossing signal here closest to the Terminator station wagon. Of course, the left signal there is being controlled by this controller in the corner here, or the curve. Um, this signal here, that's the one I explained to you guys. It will, the sensitivity on that will allow me to pick up both of those rails, whereas the sensitivity on this will only let me pick up the rail closest to the sensor. So it's not something that's ideally suited for this setup, but the way this is working, the way it worked out, the way I just so happened to hook these up, it was surely by accident. I mean, I didn't have any rhyme or reason to it really. I just decided to put that crossing signal there closest to the Terminator car on with the bell, so that whenever a train runs through in either direction here, it will activate both sets of signals. There is a delay, but it doesn't really bother me. I'm fine with it for now until maybe I can get a hold of one of these other signals again. I got such a good deal on those two IR sensors. I paid for both of them for about what you'd pay for one. So, I didn't get hurt on this at all. So, as long as they're working, I'm happy with it. You guys will be the judge of that, I'm sure. But for me, for my purposes, they're working fine. I'm just not that picky about it. Doesn't really bother me. I'm just glad that they work. As you can see here, I got my scenery back in shape. The nice thing about doing these mats the way I do them, other than the fact it does give you some added texture rather than just a flat surface, it just allows me to pull this stuff up out of the way, and I can just throw it back in place that quick. So you can make changes on your layout quick. That's another advantage to it. Or you can change and do things pretty much on the fly without making a whole bunch of disturbances. It gives me the flexibility where, I could do a little bit more. Now, it is something that's probably more naturally suited to a urban setting than, say, a city setting. I'm working on a little bit of that myself to determine which way I want to go. The inner city area is going to have some variances to it where, a lot of that's going to end up being paved surfaces and so forth. And, some of them doing the cheap way out, just maybe I'll be doing like dirt in there, which I got to do in this area yet too. I'll be filling this in. I've got some leftover, from my, when I put my plaster Paris in over there for the, I wanted to do that old school style. I kind of like carving that rock. It's kind of another therapeutic thing to do for me. I can get lost in that. So I had a lot of, debris from that. So I saved all that. And, all I have to do, that's colored over there with the same paints that I used to paint with that I told you. There's, burnt umber, like I said, get a lot of burnt umber. There's burnt umber, yellow ochre, probably some of the khaki. That's all done the old school way where you make watered down, basically stain out of the paint, and then you just daub it on in place and apply it. And then you go over with a watered down solution of black wash, and it turns it to that rock look. But you can vary that coloration however you want. Around here in Kansas, we have a lot of limestone, so ours is more like limestone color around here instead of granite. But that's another aspect of the scenery that's kind of something I wanted to talk to you about here. Just because it's this time of year, I thought I'd point out real quick, like when I do my trees over there, I just use, this is a great time of year to get a hold of some just Christmas trees like they sell at Hobby Lobby or, Michael's or probably Walmart even. This is a good time to go out and I get all my stuff usually at Hobby Lobby just because it's kind of one-stop shopping for me. And the trees I buy, they're just the little Christmas trees, like these here. And they have this variety here. This is more your pipe cleaner look. These work pretty good. I like these, even though they're that blue color. I'm not so concerned about that. I just use the same paint I used to paint my scenery down here, the quilt batting. It's this Krylon matte Spanish moss. It says on there any surface, so I took their word for it, and they're right. It'll paint anything. So, all you got to do is take and run a sink full of warm water and just immerse these trees in there. I take these bases off, of course, and you just immerse these in the water, let them sit in the water for a little bit. That snow, it's just flocking itself, and all you got to do is rehydrate, just get it wet, and it'll come right off of there. It'll shed right off of there, and I take the time to get that off of there. And of course, you have to dry them out. If you want to speed it up, you can use a hair dryer and dry those off if you're in a big hurry to paint it. And then I'll paint them. And while they're wet, it's a good time with the wet paint. It's a good time just to go ahead and use your ground foam on there. And you can use any kind of ground foam, whatever you like best. The Woodland Scenics or, and Hobby Lobby sells their variety too. It's a little bit cheaper. It looks pretty decent. So I've got some of that on here. And you can use whatever colors you want. I've probably got a mixture on those trees over there of different flocking material. But when you get done, you can see the tree over there on the left, the second one from the left. That's these blue ones. And so they tend to make once that's wet with paint, they tend to make a more random look to the vegetation of the tree rather than these pipe cleaner type. I mean, you can tell the tall one there's a pipe cleaner type. That's how they kind of look once you flock them, and you can vary your degree of flocking. You can put on as little or as much as you want. It seems like when you start sprinkling that on, you kind of get a idea real quick about where you need to stop. It seems like it's just self kind of intuitive to know how much to put on there. I just keep applying it until I go, hey, that looks like a tree. So that's kind of what I use. And you can see I've got some other stuff there that you can get at Hobby Lobby. That's all they're lichen over there. I just got that stuff thrown up there. That's probably not how it's going to stay, but same stuff over there. That's just lichen. And I don't buy that in the hobby section. I buy that in their plant department where they have their dried flowers and stuff. You can get a lot of different stuff there. I even buy their floral foam in there, and I'll make like concrete bases out of that. That's what my trestles are using over there. That's just regular floral foam painted to look like gray concrete. Like I say, painting is the key. With painting, you can make anything look like anything. So that's the advantage to painting your own and making your own. You can pretty much make whatever you want out of the cheapest stuff possible, because that floral foam over there is just dirt cheap. It's probably the cheapest. It's really easy to work with too. It's that type of a foam. It's almost too easy to work with. You got to be kind of careful with it. It's that I don't know how you describe it, non-porous, I guess. It's more dense, kind of a denser foam. And it seems like the denser the foam, the easier it is to shape, for me anyway. But, that lichen over there, you can see it kind of some of it looks naturally like it's got dead branches in it. I guess if you want to have a dried or a dead looking evergreen, juniper or spruce or whatever, is kind of the effect. But, if you don't like your lichen, you can also just put your ground foam on it and change it. So it's not a big deal on the lichen, over there. If you want to change that up, you can just by applying ground foam to that. Some of it just kind of give you a little bit of, color variance if you don't want everything to be one monotone color. and you can arrange that however you want. Take some time. That stuff, it's just I had so much out of the bag. I just didn't know what to do, and I just set it up there because I didn't know where else to put it. So that's not really going to stay like that. I'm not anywhere close to being done with this layout, but enough of that. We'll get back to the crossing here. Maybe I think what we'll do is just run a train through. I think I got a train over here. We can try out real quick and just run through here real fast. Well, I guess I don't have one ready. I don't know what happened to my engine. Well, you know what? We got a perfect candidate right here. Here's a little switcher right here. It's actually a road switcher, so it's just perfect. So this is an Atlas model. It's a model of an Alco RS1. This was kind of the start. If you guys aren't familiar with the RS1s, they're kind of the introduction to the road switcher. There's a good story behind this locomotive, who they were in competition with General Motors on their switchers. They kind of are probably responsible to this day for that design, with most of your modern engines today, other than the large modern engines. But certainly this is a precursor to the GP9s and that type of thing, kind of forcing GM to come out with their GPs. But Alco was kind of really successful first with their design. So we'll go ahead and run this little switcher here and see how he works. Okay, I think on the second line, I think we've got back there, I think we've got a Santa Fe GP38. Okay, well, that's the episode for tonight. I'll keep you abreast of any other additions to the layout. We'll see you next time. Thanks.